Hi, we're doing a series of video lectures on digital communication. The topic for today is module number 5, spread spectrum. This technology was revolutionary in itself because this was one of the milestone, I would say. Before that, wireless communication was not at all secure. With the introduction of this technology, what was the basic threats that was involved in wireless technology has been overcome using this technology. So spread spectrum is a useful, great technology, I would say, which have changed the way wireless system used to be. Okay, I'll tell you what was the problem we had prior to this spread spectrum. Normally, if we go for communication, we use NRZ waveform or RZ waveform, whatever kind of waveform to represent ones and zeros. Let us say if I'm using a polar waveform, polar and RZ waveform, so one will be represented by +1 voltage and bit 0 will be represented by -1 voltage. But whatever waveform or the line code we use, the basic unit, the basic information is in form of rectangular pulse. So normally it looks like this. You can see the basic building block of any NRZ, RZ or whatever kind of line code is this rectangular pulse, which is having bit duration TB. If I see the spectrum of this pulse, the spectrum in frequency domain looks like a sinc function. But as we have seen in module number 4, a channel is like a band pass filter. A channel cannot offer you infinite bandwidth to cover this complete entire sinc function. In fact, it is going to offer you some limited bandwidth. I told you any service provider is going to give you 5 Mbps, 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps speed. It is not going to give you infinite speed to cover everything. Okay, so our channel is band limited and it is going to select this as main information and filter out the main information. So what I want to say is more or less the signal to be transmitted will be looking like this. Okay, having bandwidth, how much? The bandwidth is RB. Okay, now what is the problem with this narrow band signal? What is the major problem that we had without spread spectrum? So the problem with this signal is, first of all, the power level of this signal is very high. You can see this is the highest in the complete information that we had in a spectrum in a sinc. This was having highest power level. So one first problem with this narrow band signal is power level, or I would rather say higher power level. Okay, so high power level. Okay, what is the second problem? The second problem is the limited bandwidth we have. We have a very stringent uh, information here about the bandwidth. Bandwidth is very, very restricted, very limited. Okay, the bandwidth is RB. Okay, so since bandwidth is very limited, we can only send useful information. We cannot send redundant bit. So limited bandwidth. Okay, limited bandwidth is another problem with this kind of. So limited bandwidth means no redundancy. You cannot encode your signal properly. Redundancy, what I mean is, suppose the information is okay, let me erase all of it one more time. I will say the two problem of narrow band communication is, first is high power level, which can be detected very easily inside a channel by any interceptor or jammer, since it is very much visible and the noise will be very much less in front of it. So it cannot be behind the noise, it cannot be hidden behind the noise or unnecessary thing. It is clearly visible, so anybody can intercept the signal. Because of its higher power level, it is clearly detectable. Second is limited bandwidth. So if you have limited bandwidth, you cannot put anything unnecessary with the information. Suppose you have lot of bandwidth, so along with the information you can put unnecessary bits also, redundant bit. For example, let us say your information is like this 1010. This is your information. What you will do it in between, since you have additional bandwidth, in between you're gonna put some random bits like this. Now whatever I have put random bits here, which is in red color, is have changed the complete look of your information. Now the information is more coded and more secure. This you can do provided you should have additional bandwidth. But in a narrow band system, we did not have the bandwidth. We have seen the requirements were very stringent, very rigid bandwidth we had. So two problems. The first one is high power level. The second one is the low bandwidth, so no redundant bit can be added. All right. So to overcome this problem, okay, to get rid of this problem, we have spread spectrum to rescue us. Now, a spread spectrum is a technology which rescue or which address these problems. These both the problems are addressed by a simple modification in communication system. The existing communication system remains same, just one or two more devices in the transmitter and receiver. Overall phase of the communication changes. See how it happens. Just spread the spectrum. Just we have seen the spectrum look like this. Okay, you have seen. Okay, let me. So this is what is the information we have. Let me draw it. Okay, this is the information. Again the same thing, RB by 2, or let us say it is RB. Okay, so this is the spectrum normally. What you do in this spread spectrum, you just expand the spectrum. So you take it like this. Okay, and then you expand it, you make it like this, look like this. So it is much greater than the required or the necessary bandwidth. So necessary bandwidth requirement, you have RB, but you have provided additional bandwidth. What happened with this? What is the advantage of this? First thing is power level has been significantly reduced because the area of the curve is same, but what you have done, you have expanded the frequency, the spectrum, the bandwidth you have expanded. So first of all, you have additional your power level has been reduced. Second, you have additional bandwidth, so you can put redundant bits now. Along with your information, you can put redundant bits randomly anywhere. So first of all, first thing is power level is low. So low power level can hide behind this noise only. So power level will be reduced as low as the noise. So anybody can not easily detect your signal. Okay, they cannot detect your signal because it has low power level. So it becomes kind of hidden among many signals, many available signals along with the noise. Second thing is, since you have additional bandwidth, you can put redundant bits now. You can encode the signal very well. So this solves two things. First of all, low power level, it becomes undetectable, so jammer cannot see it, interceptor cannot see it very easily. It becomes difficult for him to find out. Second thing, since you have additional bandwidth, again jammers cannot go and intercept because you have provided additional layer of encoding by providing redundant bits. All right, so this is the concept of a spread spectrum. Just by giving some additional bandwidth than the necessary bandwidth, what we are doing, we are solving the problem of both power level as well as redundant bits, and that's what is the spread spectrum technology for you. All right, so let us just go through the statements that I have told you in a formal way. Okay, I'll just erase all of it. I hope it makes sense to you what I have told you. Let us go. So the first thing that I have told, the basic idea here is to expand each user signal. So we are expanding the signal now, spectrum basically, to occupy much broader spectrum. Okay, much broader spectrum than necessary. If you can see it here, the necessary bandwidth was RB, but we have provided broader. We have made a spectrum broader. Okay, and how do we do so? We do so by mean of a code. This thing can be accomplished with the help of a code, and that code is having property of being pseudo random. Okay, so see in it is pretty much like modulation. How do we do modulation? We do with the help of carrier signal. So there is a carrier signal, there is no information in the carrier signal, it's just a high frequency sinusoid. The information is our message signal, but to do modulation we choose a carrier signal. high frequency. Similarly, we have the information which is narrowband. Just to make it wideband, we take another code, okay, which is independent of the information sequence. Okay, it has nothing to do with the information. Can you see it? So we choose one dummy code, independent code, which has nothing to do with the information, but it will help in expanding the bandwidth. Okay. And the best property of it is pseudo-random. What do you mean by pseudo-random? Pseudo-random means it is not exactly random. What I mean to say is, suppose a person A want to transmit information through a channel to the person B, but along with person B there are C and D as well, which is also using the same channel. So when you transmit the information goes to C and D and B. All three can receive information. So you need to make sure that only B receive the information, while C and D should not be able to unlock the information. So this code have pseudo-random nature such that it will appear random to C and D while it will appear a fixed pattern to B. Okay, what I'm saying you is, suppose there's a channel. Okay, suppose there is a channel like this. Okay, and let us say X A X Y, and you have B C D. Now A want to communicate to B only, but when it transmit through this channel, okay, the information will be spread throughout the channel. It will go to this fellow as well, it will go to this fellow as well, it will go to this fellow as well. Because channel is nothing but a spectrum. It is, air is the medium, right, for a wireless channel. So it will go to C also, B also, D also. So this information will go to all three of them. Okay. Now I don't want C to receive the information. I don't want D to receive the information. What I want only B to receive the information. So I'm going to put one code. Okay. So information was this, okay, which has been sent to all the three person. Along with this, I'm going to put code. That code is called PN code, pseudo random noise. This P will appear like a noise to D. This P will appear like a noise to C. But for B, it will appear as a fixed pattern. B will have a key to unlock this information. Okay. So it is pseudo random for C and D. It is random for C and D, but it is not at all random for B. That means exactly it is not random. It is pseudo random. I hope you have understood it. What I'm trying to say is, this information, this is the way this code works here. Okay, it is just sequence of bits. We're gonna study about PN sequence in detail and what are the properties and characteristics of PN sequence. Maybe I'm gonna make a video for that as well. Okay, so let us write what we have just wrote. So it appears random to the receiver other than the intended receiver. It is clearly mentioned here, which uses the knowledge of code to demodulate the signal. Okay, now instead of demodulate, you can write de-spread the signal. Demodulate is not the correct word. You should better write de-spread the signal, because at the transmitter we spread the spectrum, at the receiver we de-spread the spectrum. All right. So try to fix this typo error. Okay. So what is the problem? A broader spectrum means what it brings to how good it is. So we have discussed about it. A broader spectrum means lower signal power level. So your power level will go down, first of all. Second, higher spectral redundancy. So in the spectrum you can put redundant bits, which is more safe. All right. So lower signal power level makes communication signal difficult to detect. So if you have low power, now your signal becomes pretty much looking like a noise, so it becomes very difficult for the jammer or the interceptor to get that signal at first place, so it becomes undetectable. Second thing, redundant bit. Okay, so spectral redundancy makes signal more resilient to partial band jamming, whether intentional or unintentional. So earlier people could have jammed your signal very, because it was known it is at one particular frequency, it is having fixed bandwidth, it is having higher power level, so it was easy to jam. But now, since you can code it or encode it in multiple ways, it is very difficult to jam the signal. So that's again spread spectrum for you. Now with the simple block diagram, we're going to study what is spread spectrum, how spreading is done. You have understood how despreading is done. There's a method, there's a code called PN sequence code which do spreading and despreading. So if I'm using a code at the transmitter, the similar code must be used at the receiver. Okay, at the transmitter it is going to work as a going to work to spread the spectrum, and at the receiver it is going to despread the spectrum. Okay, so they must be in sync. Okay, that is the basic requirement here. So this is the basic model. Okay, so you see here, this is called digital communication. Normal digital communication, you have information, then you have modulator, then channel, demodulator, all right, the output data. This is a normal digital. If you add these two more boxes, PN sequence generator at the transmitter and PN sequence generator at the receiver, the same digital communication system becomes advanced version, and it becomes a digital communication system with spread spectrum technology. All right. Okay. So a spread spectrum system employs two identical PN sequence generator, one that interface with the modulator at the transmitting one, and another that interface with the demodulator at the receiving side. So this is the basic information, you can easily understand and write it. These two generators produce a pseudo random noise binary valued sequence. So again and again I'm saying you, what is PN sequence? PN sequence is just set of binary bits, but that happens randomly. Okay. That is the beauty of it, that is the uniqueness of it. Provided the initial state, you have the initial state, you can always change the initial state. Based on the initial state, the final PN sequence that will go will always be random, you cannot predict it. And depending upon how many flip-flops are you're using to generate the PN sequence, your length of the PN sequence will increase or decrease. Okay. So what we do is, time synchronization is the important thing that is required at the receiver. As I told you, PN sequence that you use as a transmitter must be in sync with the PN sequence that you are using at the receiver, or else it is not possible to despread the signal. Okay. So what actually happens, before actually you send the information, you send the code. Just now we have seen this example that that A X Y C B D. Okay, so when he is using this channel, this common channel is used. So whenever A want to transmit, A is transmitting like this to all. Signal from his phone goes to all phones. Let us say a phone is the terminals used at point A and point B. So before, he don't send signal before sending the signal, he'll send the PN sequence. So he's gonna send the PN sequence. I will write like this: PN here, PN here, PN here. Now C and D have no idea about what this PN sequence, so it will appear noise to them. Okay. After sending this PN sequence, information will also be sent. Okay. Since it is looking like a noise, so C will not be able to access. Similarly, D will not be able to access, and B is the only one which is going to access. So what I mean to say here, prior to information, a PN sequence code is sent to all the receiver, but only the intended receiver will be able to unlock it, because he will have that fixed pattern to unlock it. Okay, now you can see here, after time synchronization of PN sequence generator is established, the transmission of information commences. So once PN sequences are sent over the channel, after that only you send the information. Okay, it usually tracks the timing of incoming received signal and keeps the PN sequence generator. So there is a data mode which keep on track of these PN sequences. Okay, so there are two types of spread spectrum technologies that has been used and are in use at some places now. Now they are kind of obsolete. I mean, not obsolete as such, but some of their applications are obsolete. Like CDMA is obsolete, nobody is using much. Probably in defense and all they might be using, but for civilian purposes it is stopped, because for every time you purchase a SIM based on CDMA, you need to purchase a new instrument. One instrument supports only one SIM, and that essentially made it very reliable, because nobody would be interested in stealing your cell phone, right? Because it is going to support only one number which you can block, means that system is of that instrument will be of no use, right? So that was very good in terms of security. But yeah, people want flexibility at the cost of security, so GSM prevails. Anyways, two types of signal system technologies we have. The first one is called frequency hopping spread spectrum, and the second one is called direct sequence spread spectrum. So depending upon what type of modulation schemes you are using, we have done modulation schemes videos on digital modulation techniques: ASK, FSK, PSK, QPSK, DAPSK. Okay, depending upon what type of modulation techniques you are using, we have these two. Suppose you are using FSK, frequency shift keying modulation technique, then you go for frequency hopping spread spectrum. So it is written here, if you are using a non-coherent FSK modulation technique, then you will be, for spreading the spectrum or to provide the additional bandwidth, you're going to go with frequency hopping spread spectrum. Okay, but if you are using PSK, phase shift keying modulation, then you have to go for direct sequence spread spectrum. You can see here. So based on the modulation techniques, it is essential for you to understand, then only we'll have these kind of spread spectrum accordingly. All right.